Meanwhile, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has escalated his war of words with President Trump, threatening to, quote, take the highest level of response to Trump's words at the UN General Assembly. According to Pyongyang's top diplomat, that response could be a hydrogen bomb test in the Pacific Ocean.
A menacing message from Kim Jong-un on Friday, the North Korean leader vowing to make Donald Trump pay for threatening to destroy his country at the UN.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea.
In the first direct message ever made by a North Korean leader, Kim calls the U.S. president mentally deranged, threatening to tame him with fire, and saying he's considering, quote, the highest level of countermeasure in history.
To catch up with North Korea's foreign minister in New York. NHK's camera was there, and here's that exchange.
오늘 위원장님이 성명을 발표하셨는데 그거에 대해서 말씀 부탁합니다.
우리 조선민주민주공화국 국무위원회 위원장 용양 김정은 동지께서 성명을 발표하셨는데 이번 미국 트럼프의 막말과 관련돼서 6대급의 초강경 대응 조치를 취할 것이라고 언급하셨습니다.
Respected Supreme Leader Comrade Kim Jong-un, the chairman of the State Affairs Commission of the dprk, issued a statement. He stated that he will take unprecedented, toughest ever countermeasure against the speech made by Trump.
그 역사적 그 조치에 대해서는 더 구체적으로 말씀해 주실 수 있으실까?
어떤 조치가 되겠는지는 우리 국무위원장 동지께서 하시는 일이기 때문에 저는 잘 모릅니다.
What kind of measure it will be, I don't really know, because it will be done by chairman of the State Affairs Commission of the dprk.
그래서 내 생각에는 아마 그 6대급 수소탄 지상 시험을 아마 태평양상에서 하는 것으로 되지 않겠는가 그렇게 생각합니다.
But I might guess that chairman of the State Affairs Commission has a decision to conduct strongest ever hydrogen bomb test in the Pacific Ocean.
Kim's threat may be typically vague, but claims of what it could mean are chilling. The North's foreign minister suggesting that Pyongyang could hit back with a hydrogen bomb test over the Pacific.
Today I'm announcing a new executive order, just signed, that significantly expands our authorities to target individuals, companies, financial institutions that finance and facilitate trade with North Korea.
The stakes in the tit-for-tat rhetoric between the US and North Korea have been raised once again. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un released a statement on Friday condemning US President Trump's speech at the UN General Assembly, where he threatened to totally destroy North Korea if forced to defend itself or its allies. Kim said instead of making any remarks that could have diffused tensions, Trump spouted unprecedented rude nonsense that caused worldwide concern. He called Trump mentally deranged and a dotard, meaning a senile old person. Kim said the US president had insulted him and the regime and pledged to take the highest level of hardline countermeasures. The statement is an unprecedented escalation in rhetoric. It's believed to be the first time Kim, or any of his predecessors for that matter, has made such a statement in person on state media. However, despite this new precedent, one expert says it didn't come as a total surprise.
Kim's grandfather and father, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, were charismatic and had authority. They wouldn't have dealt with this kind of situation themselves. They wouldn't have needed to. But Kim Jong-un's grip on authority is much weaker, so he has to show a strong response to Trump's comments. It just shows his limits.
North Korea's top diplomat Ri Yong-ho, who was in New York for the UN General Assembly, was asked about Kim's statement.
In relation to Trump's thoughtless words, he said he would take the highest level of countermeasures. I believe that could be a test of our most powerful hydrogen bomb in the Pacific Ocean.
Pyongyang already carried out a nuclear test earlier this month, which it claimed to be an H-bomb. But a detonation in the Pacific Ocean would be considered a massive step in provocations, especially as it would be outside of North Korea's borders. But for now, experts are skeptical such test will come anytime soon.
I believe they are technically capable of carrying it out, but I think it should be seen as an introduction to a new threat card on the US. They are first more likely to continue test firing Hwasong-14 ICBM missiles into the Pacific, and then later use that to make further threats about testing an H-bomb there.
Quite recently, we have seen the provocation coming from North Korea, and the Japanese people must have gone through a big shock, and I really understand the big concerns, the huge concerns that Japanese people may have because of these provocations. So I like to express that I really feel for the compassion for the Japanese people in this regard. The three leaders have met at the G20 summit meeting in July in Germany, and we issued a joint statement. And through this joint statement, we also set a firm foundation for close coordination amongst the three countries, based on which we are cooperating closely with the international community to impose the sanctions and the pressure on North Korea. And through the UN General Assembly, the three leaders have come together. We all had made speeches at the General Assembly, and also we met with leaders of the major countries at the bilateral, and we were able to enhance understanding about the sanctions, and we were also able to urge to the international community about this situation. I think this is an outcome, that meaningful outcome that the three countries have made. President Trump just talked about the executive order through which the U.S. is going to be implementing sanctions against the dprk. And also there is a major announcement made by China to take actions on the dprk. And I'm very confident that such moves will contribute to complete denuclearization of dprk. In this, I'd like to extend my appreciation to President Trump, and I'd like to say that Korea will closely coordinate with the United States on this matter. Through today's meeting, I sincerely hope that there will be a display of strong trilateral leadership in coordinating our responses for the North Korean issue. And I also look forward to engaging in in-depth discussions for the solution to North Korean nuclear and missile problem.
Thank you. Prime Minister Abe.
In the last 3 weeks, 2 times North Korea launched ballistic missiles, 2 times going over Japan, and they conducted 6 nuclear tests, and the scale of the test was beyond the scale of Hiroshima bombs, more than 10 times. The scale of the nuclear test was 10 times more. This is intolerable, outrageous act. Thanks to Donald's leadership, we now have the summit meeting between Japan, US, and Korea. So our unity and solidarity, the strength thereof, could be presented to North Korea. This meeting is indeed quite significant. I'd like to thank Donald's leadership. Recently, UN sanction was adopted unanimously, including very strict sanctions, and I'd like to thank the efforts of the UN ambassadors from the United States. And further efforts are needed. And in this context, Donald just referred to signing of the executive order, new executive order. So we are going into the new stage of pressure from the viewpoint of exercising stronger pressure, new pressures. I welcome the new sanction measures of the United States, and I'd like to offer my heartfelt support for that. Bearing in mind those measures between the three countries, we will have the collaboration so that we will move toward the abandoning of nuclear weapons and nuclear programs.